Welcome to beautiful downtown Butler, PA. I have to say, I'm super impressed. I know everybody has seen, we've seen the farm show fairgrounds, but this is Main Street. I kind of really like Butler. Look at this. You've got your comic book store. It's sort of amazing that a town this sort of small has so many specialized places. Doesn't it look nice? Much better than Pittsburgh. No offense to the Pittsburgh people, but holy crap, is that a dump. It's like New York without any of the good parts. And there's not too many good parts left in New York. Sounds a little muffled, no? Maybe the microphone got wet. I just wanted to walk around here a little bit. It's probably, well, I don't know about that. Maybe not my only chance to be in Butler. But I bet a lot of people who watch the show haven't seen downtown Butler. Something sounds wrong with this microphone. Might be the last outing for this one. But I wanted people to be able to check it out, and it was an appropriate backdrop to explain, just briefly, some exciting developments in the world of counter lawfare. Yeah, I've realized I haven't been taking George's brother seriously enough. I say he's a mentally ill, wife-swapping paperclip Nazi. I still believe that. But he's not just some annoying guy who doesn't like my YouTube show and constantly tries to get me canceled off of every social media network. The best way for people to counteract that is to become sponsors on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. He wants me to go out of business, not be able to investigate this stuff and talk to people, show you these towns, and file right-to-know lawsuits against the Beaver County District Attorney. I might have mentioned this. I've been talking about it on X and stuff, but just to get into the details a bit, I've filed this right-to-know lawsuit because we remember Detective Gian Vito should have a very high-resolution image on his iPhone of Max Urich dead on the roof. I'm very confident it's Max Urich. It could be someone else. The whole entire face could be retouched. That's why it's so important that we get that .heic photo. Why would George's brother care about that? All this time I thought he was annoyed that their Port of Charleston nonsense in 2017 failed, which they are, of course. But here's some local artwork. You got a lot of alleys in Butler, PA. Strange. They are annoyed that that failed. But I think I'm realizing that there's something much deeper going on. And it's not just, oh, he's a Fed. We got to have really solid evidence for some of this stuff. And certainly the more outrageous the particular claim, the more extraordinary the evidence needs to be to prove it. And I think we're getting there. In part, thanks to the stupid idiot Eric Adams. It's amazing. It's quite complicated. But anyway, just to stick to the right-to-know lawsuit for now, because it's sort of raining, and the sun is going to set pretty soon, but as I was driving in here, I don't know, I just found this town so nice, surprisingly so. I like it. And I apologize to the local Butler County viewers who might say, oh, Jason, you're in town, I want to come meet with you, but because of malicious assholes like George and his brother, really mostly his brother, I just really can't comfortably travel around and tell people what I plan to do or where I might go. It's really quite pathetic how this psychotic individual has attempted to manipulate and damage my life and basically anything I try to do, my business, my personal life. I've told people how He antagonized my mother when I was taking care of her after spinal surgery, sending stupid letters to my father and the Navy and the medical something or other. I mean, they're retired, old people. Leave them alone. He's a psychopath. He really should be prosecuted by the NYPD or the FBI. I've contacted both of those things many times about his ongoing harassment. They don't care. It's weird. It's almost like they're protecting him. There's a few people like that. That psychopath, crackhead Barney, what's her name? Ursula. I forget her name. I got it written down. She knows not to mess with me now because she'll get motherfucking sued too. I don't have time for losers like her right now. Still busy with Eric Adams, Elon Musk. People are starting to realize it's strange that Eric Adams is using Alex Spiro, $2,000 an hour attorney, who is also Elon Musk's personal attorney, normally represents him in everything. I apologize for this muffled sound. So many of my microphones are getting ruined by rain and stuff. But I've got this right to know lawsuit. It's Goodman versus the Beaver County District Attorney. And the purpose of it is I've laid out all the arguments as far as, things I've discussed on the show. If people haven't seen those counter lawfare episodes, you can become a sponsor on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth or any of the others. You can also go, I'll find the link. I know how I can log in there, but I was trying to log in, to find something so that everybody can log in and see the docket and see what I'm filing. I don't know, maybe legal experts know better than me. I'm not a lawyer. Nothing I ever say is legal advice. But I did enter this pro se right to know lawsuit where I'm explaining to now the Pennsylvania State Court, not just the people working at the district attorney's office who don't want to give me the information. This is ostensibly an impartial, it's still the government, right? But this is just the state court, and they're supposed to give us this stuff. See, the problem that the stupid police here have gotten themselves into, and by the way, that's another reason why I can't really tell people, hey, I'm coming to Butler. It's just another municipality where the law enforcement agencies would like to see me, they wouldn't like to see me. Anyway, the police have screwed themselves. Because you see, if at the outset they said, oh no, we cannot give you those photographs, there's an investigation going on and blah, 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 whatever, there's certain exemptions in that law, the right to know. I think we're reaching the end of Main Street here. Oh, here's the post office. I needed some stamps before, but I got them already. That's pretty interesting. That's a big one. The Ford place. Although my car is running fine. But anyway, if the police had said, oh, here's these exemptions in the right to know law, and Jason, you can't have this stuff because of these exemptions, they might be in a better position right now. But the problem is they were like, yeah, hey, no problem. Here's all the stuff. Although they did have a problem because they were supposed to do it within 5 days according to the law, and they can't count or something because it took them like 26 days, 29 days, something like that. That was bad. That's in there. Plus, they lied on the phone. Remember, Detective Patrick Young said, oh, this is the most original, or whatever he said, format that we have, and that's all you're getting, something like that. I love it when asshole cops tell me this is how it works, particularly when they don't know how it works. I'm showing them how it works. We get the information is how it works. You can't go shooting at the president and photo retouching evidence with the Philadelphia Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau and then attempt to tell me how it works. I'm a bit of an asshole for people who haven't noticed, and I don't put up with that crap. So basically, George's brother has entered an amicus curiae brief, or he's attempting to at least. He sent it to me. He sent it to the, he's writing all kinds of letters to the Beaver DA. Look at this kind of like historical buildings here. This is nice. This is a town I think I would have never come to, and I'm glad I'm here. But he's, you know, for people who don't know, and remember, anything I say that refers to anything legal, it could be wrong. If you're a lawyer and I say something stupid, don't be surprised. I'm not a lawyer. So maybe I have this all wrong. Maybe this case will explode in my face and I'll lose. I don't know. I hope not. What is this? Wagon wheel coming off the wagon? That's the last train wheel produced by the Armco Wheel Works. Well, that's nice. I like that. Did people ever see the video where I went with Quinn Michaels to the Sanford lab in, where was that, South Dakota? I'm pretty sure. South Dakota. That was an amazing trip. It's too bad Quinn Michaels turned out to be a lunatic / social engineer. So many people I know seem to do that. It's very disappointing. But anyway, an amicus curiae brief, I think it's Latin for friend of the court. It's just basically when somebody who's not in the case writes something, like, you know, sometimes there's like heavy technical stuff in a case. Like if you had some kind of case that had something to do with a nuclear bomb, like that Port of Charleston thing, if that had become an actual case rather than utter bullshit, which it was, you know, perhaps there would be a need to understand something about nuclear something or other, and you really can't expect a judge or the lawyers to be experts in nuclear physics. So you might have an amicus, a friend of the court with particular expertise in nuclear something that would have something to do with the case, and they don't really have any role in the case as a defendant or a plaintiff or a witness necessarily, but they're just a friend of the court providing information to the court to help with the adjudication of the matter. And it's actually, the judge has extremely broad latitude. The Butler Eagle has moved. It has landed. Where did it move to? Oh, look at that. Hey, I love the historical build. I hope they're historical and not just made to look like that. It's got to be, right? Look at that. I like that. There's the Eagle. They put the Eagle in the Butler Eagle. See, there's that weird pattern again that we have at Jeffrey Epstein's island and whatever. And then what's that? Do we have faces there or something? Yeah, let me see if we could zoom in on that. It's raining, so it's a little hard to operate the, just more eagles. That's good. So the amicus is a friend of the court. The judge has a lot of latitude to accept these amicus briefs. You don't have to be a nuclear physicist. It's just someone who has a unique perspective or information that could help the court. And if the judge likes it, he can accept it. And I think George's brother got onto an amicus tear after I entered an amicus curiae brief in the Eastern District of Michigan. Remember, I've spoken about it quite a lot, how those two idiots, with the help of a fellow idiot, who's that guy? They forged a document, I've alleged, and I presented evidence in support of that allegation. They haven't been able to refute it. You know, it's kind of like Palmer Luckey, that psychopath on Twitter who claims to have invented the Oculus Rift. I get it that that's his origin story. I question it. He seems like a sheep-dipped moron to me. I don't know, I could be wrong. It's my opinion. Oh, look. Perfect. Boy, this is turning out to be a great video. I didn't talk to these people. Hey. But anyway, George and mostly his idiot brother and this clerk in the Eastern District of Michigan, Richard Lurie, they entered what appears to be a forged document, in one of their efforts to try to jam me up in their lawfare odyssey that they've been subjecting me to. Speaking of Odyssey, you can become a sponsor on Odyssey. Go to odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. They got a lot of lawyers over here. 222. Good thing it's not 333. See, so look at this. It's interesting. Here's what I'm saying. We got a lot of cool street art. I got to tell you something. There's a lot of character to this Butler, PA. I enjoy it. But those guys, they entered a forged document just, strictly to try to jam me up. It took a lot of explaining to convince the morons at the FBI, Kenneth Engberg. Go email him, Swigert. I'll cross-examine him in court. I'll depose him. I'll tell him he's a moron. He is a moron. Everybody at the FBI that I've interacted with is a super moron. Unbelievable. Robin Gritz, dumb as dirt. All of them, stupid. The FBI can't do anything except for jamming people up. So they entered this forged document. I came in as an amicus. Initially, Judge Gershwin Drain, he was, oh wait, there we go. That's much better. Maybe initially, Gershwin Drain was very interested. Yeah. Called me to a hearing in Michigan. I drove all the way there. And literally hours before the hearing, it got canceled without explanation. Actually, first they said it was, what's the court word for reschedule? Adjourned. And I was like, oh, well, when is it adjourned until? And the woman, the clerk for Gershwin Drain, who is also rude as hell, she sent an email and said, respond to this email, and if you have any questions, call this phone number. And I responded to the email, and she said nothing, and I called, and she was rude as hell and hung up the phone quite quickly. It's weird how many of these law enforcement and court people want to get off the phone with me right away. Drone operators. A lot of people don't want to talk to me. I'm a nice guy. So long as people don't cross me, then I become pretty mean. I don't know if it's mean, but I'm thorough in my dispensing of assholes. And George's brother is about to learn that, maybe in the most epic way in the entire history of my life. No violence whatsoever will be done. He loves to email people about violence that he claims I'm doing. There is no violence. I'm talking about legal proceedings that are going to devastate him. Oh, look, is this a theater? Yeah, it is. We've got Macbeth coming here. I have to tell you, I enjoy Macbeth. That's a good thing. And, one time, hey, look at they got the whole theater troupe in there. This is an interesting town. Really interesting. So they forged the document. I came in as an amicus. I went there to go to the hearing. They canceled the hearing. I suspect Valerie Caproni played a hand in that. The Wall Street Journal said that Gershwin Drain was one of 122 judges. They did a whole big thing about judges who had broken the law and got in trouble for it. Gershwin Drain was among them. They didn't talk about Valerie Caproni in that. It was Congress. It was Democrats in Congress. John Conyers said Valerie Caproni is an obese criminal. I said she's obese. Conyers said she broke the law. That's a crime. That makes you a criminal. So it's Congress that said that, not me. I'm just commenting on these public domain facts. Anyway, now George's brother thinks he's going to come in as an amicus in a right-to-know lawsuit, which does not make sense. And he has no interest in this. He's trying to stop me from, stop us. It is our right to know. I'm representing to the court that we do have a right to know, and that everything that the cops have said and done already prove that. They've just realized that they're in trouble, and so now they don't want us to know. But I am not going to allow them to get away with that, or at least hopefully. I mean, it's important to know it's still in the hands of the court, but I have a feeling this, if it's a fair court, and that's a big if, but if it's a fair court that's going to serve justice, we're going to get this document. We're going to get this photo. Or the police will say, well, you know, we don't have it. Gian Vito's dog ate the homework. He flushed the iPhone down the toilet. Or no, yeah, he's like Eric Adams. He changed the password and now he can't remember it. Didn't have the Face ID or the thumb. He just can't use the phone at all. Isn't that funny? Happens. Yeah, I guess to throw it away and get another phone. They're screwed is what I'm getting at. And I think George's brother realizes that, which is why he's freaking out. But what's happened now is that amicus brief was sent right to Judge Colt. Judge Colt is another judge in the Southern District of New York. He's presiding over Swigert v. Goodman. What's interesting is that originated in the Southern District of New York. It's like, I don't know, the 5th or 6th time George's brother has sued me. And, you know, because I've got all these motions under Rule 60B4, was it 4 or 6? It's hard to remember some of this stuff. But I've got an appeal in the Second Circuit against Judge Caproni. There's a ramshackle here. And I do not believe that any district court judge would fear me. That would be absurd for me to think that. But I have made it a little bit uncomfortable, I think, for Judge Caproni to continue her obviously illegal shenanigans against me. I've got that fat bitch's number. First Amendment allows me to tell you she's a fat fucking bitch. Put it into court, Dave. I'd love for her to see that. How do you like my YouTube show now, Judge Caproni? Mr. Goodman. Vape. I don't recommend the vape. I think it's terrible for you. But anyway, I think it's become inconvenient for some of these judges to try to do the bullshit that they've been trying to do to me. And the next judge on tap to be served justice is Jessica G.L. Clark, another judge that I observe to be corrupt. I could be wrong. That's my opinion based on the evidence that I'm seeing, because you see, Judge Jessica G.L. Clark, I don't know what the GL stands for, because maybe, I don't know, her middle name, but she worked for Tish James from 2019 to 2023. There's the transit authority. That's the bus terminal. I don't know. This is kind of a pretty complete small town. I like it. It reminds me in certain ways, not the weather or the style, maybe a little bit the style. It reminds me of Shreveport, Louisiana. I like it. Maybe I'm sick of New York, but I can't leave. There's too much to do there. Anyway, Jessica G.L. Clark, she was working for Letitia James. And for people who haven't been following the insane, historic corruption that's unfolding in New York City, the mayor has been indicted, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's taking money from Turkey, and he's going on planes. What is this guy saying? We got assholes driving around here too, I guess. Maybe I'm walking into the wrong part of town. Let's head back to Main Street. I don't know this town, so I don't want to get myself into trouble. We got Uber here. But the point is, how could the top law enforcement officer in the entire state, Letitia James, how could she not know that the mayor and the police commissioner were shaking down private businesses to get them to use private security firms operated by the police commissioner's twin brother? It's like an episode of Batman that we've got a twin of the police commissioner who's going around doing I don't know what. But she didn't know. She was oblivious. So I've got a motion in that case with Judge Clark. That's Goodman versus the city of New York. where I was attacked outside Twitter when I went there on November 1st, 2022, 4 days after Elon Musk bought Twitter. I went there to tell him that the FBI had its peanut butter and it had its chocolate in Twitter's peanut butter. Remember those commercials for Reese's? They love alleys in Butler, PA. It's weird. But anyway, I got choked outside the building, and I'm sure this is just a coincidence, but George's brother had sent an email to Jim Baker. Well, he sent it to legal@twitter.com, and Jim Baker was the deputy general counsel, so I have to presume he saw that. He's the lawyer. Legal@twitter.com goes to the legal department. It's funny, too, because he previously was the FBI general counsel, just like Judge Caproni. It's a weird coincidence, isn't it? I don't know. Seems weird to me. But that case got shut down by Judge Jessica G.L. Clark, and it just has been reopened with a motion for reconsideration and relief from judgment on the basis of unprecedented new facts pertaining to this corruption scandal and the high likelihood that Letitia James herself could be implicated. She's said nothing. Remember when Donald Trump was on trial with that also corrupt judge? In my opinion, Laura Loomer found a lot of evidence that Juan Merchan's daughter was making millions of bucks from, I think, Kamala Harris. Something to do with messing with Trump. It's crazy how corrupt the courts are. I had this very naive impression that you could get justice in the courts. I don't think so. You got to wrestle it out of him. That's what I'm doing now. We're going to get it. I don't care if it takes the rest of my life. Well, that's not true. I care. I'd rather not. But I'm prepared for that. I have nothing else to do but this. I kind of enjoy it. Particularly when I get proven right by these scandals. So it's not just Jason who's saying this now, it's Damian Williams. He's the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, so if it's a conspiracy theory, he's a conspiracy theorist too. That's going to be harder for the judges to sell, I think. So the judge is going to have to explain how Letitia James was unable to identify. How you doing, man? I don't know if anybody ever told that guy he looks like Gary Busey, but he does. We got some weird shops here. We're in another realm. What is this? Fantasy stuff, I guess. Crystals and more. What more do you need? Yeah, so, I mean, certainly if this insane criminality was happening, going all the way up to the office of the mayor, and the attorney general didn't even know about it, certainly that's an indication of either incompetence or perhaps complicity in the crimes. In fact, I think it might be the latter. I've been talking a lot lately about podcasts from at the Sal Greco and also New York's finest unfiltered podcast. Those guys are great. They have so much good information. It's helping me a lot. Stuff I didn't know that fits into my case. I mean, helps me understand things that I didn't realize. I don't know what they think about jaywalking in this town, and I don't want to give the cops an opportunity to do something to me. People have commented that anytime I walk, it's jaywalking. But not that I'm always crossing against the light, but that my name is Jason. So the point is, the appearance of a conflict of interest for this judge who used to work in the office of the Attorney General, who failed to identify, prosecute, do anything about this criminality. And by the way, this has been going on now for 2-3 weeks. Letitia James hasn't said anything. And it's quite surprising. One of the things that those police podcast guys have talked about is that normally in a situation like this, where federal prosecution happens, you'd have the state attorney general getting involved. And the fact that she isn't, they surmise or perhaps speculate, or maybe I'm doing that based on what they said. It seems like they're not getting her involved in the investigation because she may get indicted. Seems bad for somebody who worked for her to preside over a case where I'm talking about exactly the same type of police corruption and city corruption that they're saying is a conspiracy theorist, and Jason, you have to be dismissed. They have a lot of interesting little tchotchkes, my grandfather would call this stuff, hanging around in Butler, PA. It's cool. But anyway, the idea is we got that case back in action, and George's brother is all upset about the other case here in Beaver County in Pennsylvania. It's got nothing to do with him. And so he's basically, as an amicus, coming in there. I didn't even know what he's trying to say. He's saying I'm a terrorist. All this crazy stuff that I just wrote back to the court in Pennsylvania saying, okay, now this idiot is making, this is the gas and oil company. This idiot is making false statements over interstate wires through email and mail, lying about me to law enforcement. That seems like a crime that he should be prosecuted for. They won't do it in New York. Philadelphia FBI actually already declined to do anything about him years ago when he messed with Larry Klayman. He broke that relationship with Larry Klayman. That's what he wanted to do. It's too bad. But yeah, Detroit FBI, nothing. Maybe the state authorities here in Pennsylvania might not appreciate him violating the law. I don't know. How can somebody break the law like this so rampantly and have nothing at all happen to them? It seems like he might work for the FBI or be a contractor to something that works for the FBI. He's like some sort of weird cyber sentry or sentinel out there looking for people like me who perhaps might uncover stories that would lead to the dismantling of this vast corruption. This investigation apparently goes back to 2014. Eric Adams was like the Brooklyn borough president or something like that. He's been in city government kind of a lot since he left the transit police. And you know, the other thing, a lot of people were like, oh, what about Diddy? Eric Adams gave the key to Diddy. And that's true, but I had discounted that originally. Hey man, how you doing? I had discounted that originally, but actually, again, the police podcasting guys, these are retired police, Sal Greco, John, what's his last name? I'm just getting to know these guys, and Eric Din, I think his last name is, John McCarty, I think his last name is. These guys have a great podcast. That's the New York's finest, unfiltered. And yeah, get into a little, anyway, the thing that they were saying is, so Eric Adams was a captain in the New York City Transit Police. But then in 1995, the Transit Police and the NYPD merged, and it all just became the NYPD. And so I guess he was still a captain. And remember, in 1999, oh, we have a chop shop. Diddy got a little bit jammed up for shooting somebody in the face in a club. And I forget who, Shepard knows about this kind of stuff, but somebody in Diddy's crew took the heat and went to jail for the shooting. And J-Lo was the gun mule, got the gun out of there. But Diddy didn't get in trouble. Diddy didn't. Diddy, didn't he? But he didn't. And so the question is, as a police captain, there was something called like the hip hop squad. I forget what it's called exactly, but the question is, did Eric Adams play a role in P. Diddy not getting into trouble all those years back then? I don't know. But there's rampant corruption in Eric Adams' New York City government. The judge in my case used to work for Letitia James. Letitia James was hanging out with Eric Adams, Ed Caban, the former police commissioner, all these corrupt dudes at that restaurant in the Bronx, Con Sofrito, per Sal Greco. And the thing that I learned today that's super exciting is that this whole entire criminal prosecution of Eric Adams came about as a result of a civil lawsuit against that restaurant Con Sofrito. And according to these guys, Damian Williams, the first black U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, I think this is a sharp guy, Damian Williams, he apparently is mining the civil docket to find cases that have evidence that can support his criminal prosecutions. Isn't that super interesting, Dave? I think it is. So anyway, I just wanted to show people downtown Butler, PA. I love it. Fantastic. I'm delighted to be here. And I'm not sure when I'm going to release this video. I have to be very careful about revealing my presence here. So you might see other stuff before you see this, but thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to become a sponsor. I couldn't do things like come here to Butler, PA and file all these lawsuits and drive around buying gas and stuff without you, the viewer sponsors. So thanks to everybody who's been sponsoring on every channel. Please visit odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. You can become a sponsor for as little as $3 a month, plus a 58-cent Odyssey fee. You're sponsoring and supporting independent tech. Odyssey is a great platform and independent journalism, and it's the most economical way for you to access a huge library of sponsor-exclusive content and the largest library of crowdsource the truth content